This is why we're here today. These books are why we're here today. I have so many feelings about these books and I need to get it off my chest, and I feel like the only way I could do that is to create a video of a review and a rant, and that's what we're doing. That is what we're doing in this video. Let's get into it. I would like to start by saying that I am not like much of a book girly. Like, I don't know how to explain that. Like, I love reading books, but I'm not super analytical when it comes to the books. Like, I just want to read to enjoy the book. What I'm trying to say is that a lot of the book reviews that I've seen, mainly on Iron Flame on YouTube, have just been not very positive, very just like tearing the book apart, and that's not a bad thing. Like, to each their own, but you're not going to get that from me because I'm not one of those people that looks like super in depth and has things that in a list that needs to be met from an author for me to enjoy the book, if that makes sense. Maybe you could say that I lack critical thinking when it comes to reading the books, but I don't want to be critically thinking to enjoy a book, and that's just me. So, that being said, that's the kind of review / rant you're going to get from me. Like, you're not going to get a super in-depth, super critical thinking, super analytical, like, this is what the book is missing type review, okay? You're just not. So if that's what you're looking for, you're probably in the wrong place. I am not going to tear these books apart. I might even be a little bit more surface level with my review compared to other people, but that is just me, and that is what you're going to get from me. Okay? So if you see the light like dimming and brightening up, dimming, it's because I have my computer right here, that's why. Another thing that I would like to start with is the genre that I normally read, which is romance. I am into romance books. I've tried nonfiction. I did try a couple thrillers. I like thrillers too, but like my top choice to read would be romance. I love love, always been that way. That's just me. So I enjoy those books. I saw the hype around Fourth Wing on Goodreads and stuff like that, and I was shocked because, you know, avid book readers give hard, critical, tough reviews, and this book on Goodreads had like some of the highest reviews that I've seen for books. But because it was a fantasy book, and I guess some people call it romantasy, sure, we could go with that. But I'm just gonna keep calling it fantasy, which I think is like the basis of it. Dragons, not my thing. Like, I like Hunger Games and Divergent, like the movies. Game of Thrones, not my thing. Lord of the Rings type stuff, not my thing. Star Wars, not my thing. That kind of stuff, not my thing. So a couple weeks ago, this book, The Fourth Wing, was on sale, and that's what made me pull the trigger, because it was just like, I've seen all these damn reviews, like I've seen the TikToks. It's like, you know what, let's just freaking try it. Like, it's not gonna kill me, but you know, just try it. Let's just see how it goes. This book, let's not be dramatic and say changed my life, but like, if we were to be dramatic, changed my life. Changed my book life. After finishing Iron Flame, of course I did a ton of research into like, I need hints of the third book. I need to see all of Rebecca's interviews. Like, I need all the information I can get to see like what I can form of an idea of what we're gonna get in the third book, because I can't, like, I need it now. That being said, in one of her interviews, she said that she pretty much wrote Fourth Wing as, you know, to be accessible to people who are not normally fantasy readers, to like kind of bring in people who would not normally read fantasy and like turn them into fantasy readers. Well, she did exactly that with me personally. I'm obviously going to start reading more fantasy books now that these ones have just like drew me in like crazy. Pretty much what I'm trying to say, she did her damn job with that. Like, she pulled me in. There ain't going nowhere from here, you know. I'm in here. I'm in the series. There's no getting out at this point. But maybe there is, but we'll get to that later. So yeah, I would say that if you're not normally a fantasy reader, these books are gonna put you right in that genre and make you want to read more. I am in love with these books. I truly am in love with these books. Both of these books got 5 stars from me. I gave them 5 stars before I could even like form my full opinion of them, because like both endings of both books left me speechless. It was hard for me to form like what my review would be, but they were just so damn good. There was no way I was going to go under 5 stars. So for me personally, both of these books are 5 stars. I really want to talk about Iron Flame because that's the one I read most recently, but I will go over the review that I did give on Fourth Wing. Now, normally I don't read fantasy, so this is the first fantasy books I've ever read, so my reviews, again, are just going to be very probably surface level. I don't have anything to compare it to. First fantasy baby. With Fourth Wing, I was actually hooked instantly. It was just right into it. There was no like too much build up. She instantly starts with conscription day and what it is and what it will be, and that she's going into it, and it's just right into it. There's no like build up into, okay, like what are we getting at? That for me personally is big for me as a reader. You need to pull me in instantly. It gave you the information that you need, the nitty gritty. Perfect. Loved it. Of course, instantly when she saw Xaden for the first time, girl, I knew it had to be a little something. It had to be a little something that was gonna go on. And I loved it. I loved the story between both Violet and Xaden, the dragons, the bonding, how they can like communicate with each other without talking. Overall, I think the story is just really freaking good. One thing I have a hard time understanding is the king's position and stuff like that. A little confusing. I think if I reread, I will understand it more. Mainly because I was so just sucked into like the story of the dragons and the riders and the success of Violet and the relationship between her and Xaden that I didn't care too much to understand the more in-depth like history of Navarre, like of the continent, and of the king and stuff like that. I didn't care as much. So yes, I'm reading it and I know that those are things that are happening in the book, but yeah, again, if I reread it, I think 100% I'll understand it. But my first read through, it's definitely still a little fuzzy. Spoiler, if you haven't read Fourth Wing, I would probably turn this off or skip. When Liam died, I did cry. I'm a very emotional person though, so I would say that I cry easily, but I did not cry at the end of Iron Flame. I did see some people who recorded themselves like for the reaction and they were crying at the end. I did not. I was expecting to because other people were, but no, there was no crying. I'll get to my reaction though later. But the ending of this book was really good. Her brother is actually alive and is a part of this new revolution that starts in Iron Flame. So damn good. So damn good. I love this book. I have not posted a full review of Iron Flame on Goodreads. I am still just like, I'm still not okay. I'm feeling a lot better. I finished this 2 nights ago. After I finished it, I was left dumbfounded and speechless. I just sat there for a little bit. Then I went on my 2-hour research spree of like, has she named a release date yet? Even though I know she hasn't for the 3rd book. You know, what are the theories? What are the hints that we've gotten for the 3rd book? I was just searching everything that had to do with the 3rd book because I felt like I just needed I need it. I think we all do. We all want it now, especially because she put these out back to back like so soon after each other that now we're expecting that. So I feel like that's a little tough for the reader, but also on the author as well, that like, you know, we got spoiled with 2 books right off the bat and now we have to wait probably a little bit longer for the 3rd book. And that's really freaking tough, especially because just how like amazing these books are in my opinion. I think even the people that have given harsh reviews on them are still going to read the 3rd book, you know, because like there's just something about these books that just like really pulls you in no matter how much you don't like it. Let's start with my review. I gave this book 5 stars because again, I think it gave so much good detail. It's not just about the romance. yes, that is like very prominent in the book, but it's everything else around it. And that's, even in romances, that's my favorite thing. You know, it's just everything around the romance that makes the book amazing. And I felt that way. I feel that way about romances too. One of my favorite romances that I read this year, it wasn't just about the beautiful relationship that developed. It was about the main character, like finding herself, about her family around her friends around her. It was more the story than it was just the relationship, but the relationship just makes it what it is, right? I feel the same way about this series. The relationship is, yes, it's prominent, and that's great. It's great to read, but it's about the characters that are around the relationship. It's about the story that's around the relationship. It's about the things that are happening around the relationship that makes it what it is, in my opinion. And so that's why I think that these books are so damn good. Just about the conflict, like how they're figuring out that they've been lied to the whole time. It's just all, in my opinion, also good. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. What could be a little bit clearer to me in Iron Flame is the runes. Like the runes, I think I could be wrong about this, and I'm not gonna go back and read it really quick to fact check, but I think the runes are under the college. There's like runes under the college that is what helps make it powerful as well. But I wish that was a little bit more clear. Like, I wish it was explained a little bit more. Again, I got really wrapped up into this story. So some of the things that I chose to like kind of not understand as well, I wasn't like sitting there rereading to like try to understand it. I was just kind of just reading through it, got the gist, but kept moving because the story was so good. I feel like maybe if I reread it, maybe I'll understand it a little bit better, but just after one read, I would say that it's still a little foggy to me. So the runes, I wish I got a little bit more detail about. Again, the like leadership, so like the king stuff, I'm still a little unclear because we got like a king, we got some generals, we got a viscount. Like, I don't know, I feel like, and again, maybe with the second read, I might understand better, but just of now, I'm just still a little unsure of that. Again, those to me weren't as important as just like the main story. So is what it is, but those are just some of the things that I am still a little unclear of. I know people pronounce all of these words differently, and I'm sure Rebecca pronounces the words differently as well. But Aritia or Aritia, I don't know how to say it. That storyline is amazing, how they're rebuilding it, how there's a ward there that can be, you know, protected, but why isn't it fully protected? And then they get to that, why it was like kind of like a half ward and not a full ward. Like, just all of that is just so good. A lot of people complained about saying that Violet was being very whiny. Even some of my friends feel the same way. I feel like I wasn't as annoyed by her as I thought I would be. I understand her feelings. I think a lot of people wish that she got over them quicker. Sure, I feel the same way, but it didn't bother me too much. Did see somebody say in one of their reviews that they wished there was a little bit more detail behind why Violet was feeling the way she was. She was feeling insecure, she was feeling inferior, and they assumed that it would be from like losing Liam and, you know, fighting Venom out of nowhere. Like her whole world came crashing down before her eyes and she just had to adjust. That wasn't explained though. That's just an assumption somebody made. And they were saying that they wished that that was explained. And after they said that, I feel like I could agree, because when I was reading it and she was saying that she was insecure, feeling inferior and stuff like that, I think also it's the fact that like Xaden has this whole kingdom kind of, or whatever, castle that is his again. But I think that Violet was maybe feeling those ways because she realized that like this is all his. Maybe she doesn't belong here. She doesn't feel like she fits in here. Like her mom is the one who kind of, you know, who did all this to this town and this, that, and the other. So that was my assumption. But again, the assumption that maybe it's because her world that she knew like came crashing down before her, that makes sense too. Again, it's kind of left more up to assumption and what you think is the reader rather than there being detail behind it. So, I mean, sure, like I wouldn't mind if there was an explanation on her end of like, why am I feeling this way? It didn't bother me too much though. I loved Violet and Xaden's relationship once they got past their issues. I loved how we saw also how tough she truly is with her getting tortured by Varish. I loved that. I think there's more to Varish's story. We didn't get to like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? So I kind of hope that's elaborated on a little bit more in the third book. I know he's dead, so why would we bring him up again? But I just feel like, who is he? Like, what was he doing with Jack Barlow? You know what I mean? What did he know, if anything? So I feel like we didn't get to that. So I'm hoping we get a little bit more. But I did love to see like how tough Violet really is. Even in the battle at the end when the Venom come, you see her like unbuckle, jump from dragon, save Sawyer. Like she's really starting to kind of push herself to do things that she wasn't able to do or she doesn't think she's able to do. It just goes to show like how strong she really is and can be. So I think that's gonna play into like the rest of the series. Is like she's just gonna keep leveling up. She's just gonna keep getting better and better. I love the storyline of Andarna being like the 7th breed of dragon. I love that she apparently waited like 650 years or something like that. But Andarna waited for Violet. There's a story there. And I love the setup. Like, I love that. I love that, you know, Andarna's different. Ooh, it's good. I really like that. The Venom, the dreams, really interesting. Initially, people were assuming that Violet, it makes sense because Xaden and Violet's brains are connected, that they were seeing the same things. No. And I think Rebecca might have pointed that out, or I saw somewhere that it was pointed out that no, it's their own dreams. And I do also think that it's their own dreams. I don't think that they're seeing each other's dreams. It's their own dreams. I'm frustrated because Xaden and Violet did not share their dreams with each other because they're the exact same dream. So I think, again, there's something there. And I think probably Violet and Xaden will share that information in the next book. But I wish it was shared here because like then I think that would have even set up a little bit more for the third book. Again, it just kind of leaves you wondering, and I know that's the point. Again, love it. I love the details. Me personally, like I feel like the reviews that I've seen have not gone into all of this. Like, it's good, y'all. What are you talking about? Like, this is good stuff right here. Okay, let's get into the ending of Iron Flame. This is where my heart was just destroyed. I was in emotional distress for a solid 24 hours. Like, it was not good. It was not a good feeling. I'm still reeling from it, you know, still spiraling just a little bit, but I think I'm a little bit recovered. Xaden turning Venom is on the worst things that could happen in this book, other than him dying. Him turning Venom? Like seriously? Seriously, that's what left me speechless. Like, I was just pissed. I mean, my genuine reaction was, what the fuck? What the fuck? I think that was everyone's reaction. What the fuck? Like, why did you do that to us? Don't do that to us. But here's how I feel about it. Obviously, I'm pissed. But I'm hopeful because at the end of the book, when you can see that they're talking together, he's talking to Violet, and it shows that, like, you know, he still loves Violet. He, like, lives for her. He did this for her. So she didn't die and he didn't die and this, that, and the other. It seems when they're talking, he has control of himself still. It's freaking sad. Like, this is not what I wanted. This is not what I wanted. I think it could go one of two ways. I think it could be really freaking bad, or it could be decent. I think it could be a strain on the relationship in the third book. Yes, I do think that. But I also think as much as it could be a strain on their relationship, they can still work together to find the cure. At the end of the book, we do see he wants the cure. He knows. We know there's a cure, okay? History is repeating itself, and Andarna waited 600 and some centuries or years or whatever for Violet. Like, she's 7th breed of the dragons. Like, there's something here. Like, we know, like, something's coming. Something's gonna happen. If Xaden's a damn Venom, we know Violet's gonna fight for him. We know Violet's gonna find a cure. What my hope is that they do it together as much as they can. I think the Venom stuff is gonna put a strain on their relationship because it's hard. I think it might be hard for him to keep control of himself as well because Venom are power hungry. I just hope that this does not, like, just completely separate Violet and Xaden. I hope that Rebecca really does keep Violet and Xaden endgame. Like, I hope they are together throughout the rest of the series, because if they're not, there's no way I'm finishing the series. Like, you've brought us so deep into this relationship, whether it's toxic or not. I don't think it's toxic. You brought us so deep into this. They obviously love the shit out of each other. You cannot take this away from us. Like, this is just like how I feel. And these were my thoughts, like knowing that he's Venom and the things that could possibly happen, the bad things that could possibly happen. You can't take them away from us. So I just really freaking hope that they do this together. He is the outlier that helps figure this out. There's a lot of theories out there with like, oh, okay, there's unbonded dragons. Does that mean that like there are Venom who are still bonded to a dragon, this, that, and the other? I think all of these are really great theories and really great things to think about. But I am just stuck on, like my heart is just stuck on like, please. You did not get Violet and Xaden back to this point right at the end of the book just to do this, just to tear them apart again in the third book. It makes my stomach hurt. The only thing that makes me, it really does make my stomach hurt. I woke up the next morning after the book thinking I would maybe be over it. I dreamed about the book, like the entire night. I was just dreaming about the damn book. I barely got any good sleep. And then I woke up the next morning, like literally feeling sick to my stomach over this. That's how in deep, how attached I am to these books. I know it's kind of fucking crazy. It's crazy for me. I've never been like this towards a book. But like I said, these books just drag you in. I'll get to that. I'm still stuck on Xaden. In one of Rebecca's interviews, one of the people asked, like, how do you tell the Venom from like just being tired or high? And I think it was a little bit of a joke, but Rebecca didn't, she just said it would be really important in the third book. Like the Venom become really important in the third book. We obviously know that, but you know, she answered the question as like, that could be a possibility that there's like maybe different kinds of Venom, or you need to decipher between, I don't know. There was something there in my opinion that is like, oh, it made my eyebrows raise where I was like, this is interesting. I don't know. I think there's something there. And that was another thing that made me a little bit more hopeful for Xaden. That is just kind of like, oh, like, could this be different? Could he be different? I don't know. I just hope that he doesn't turn power hungry. I hope he stays in control. Like it seems like he is in the end of the book. She's still sleeping with him. So I don't know. I know they're under the wards. So like, I guess his power would be like a little bit less or whatever, but it's interesting. I don't know. It makes me hopeful. Like I said, like I'm so hopeful for the next book. I'm sure there's going to be like, it's going to be a roller coaster of their relationship again, I'm sure, because it's not going to be easy, but at the same time, I just hope it doesn't completely rip them apart. I hope he doesn't become crazy power hungry or anything. I hope this is a chance for her to work directly with a Venom and they work together to find a cure and figure out this shit together. I have a hard time believing Rebecca would really freaking bring us to like the perfect time in their relationship, right when they like solve their differences and everything through this entire book, just to do it to us again at the beginning of the third book. Like, please don't do that. Please. I'm begging you, Rebecca, please. So I am hopeful. And I keep repeating that because I'm just trying to remind myself like it's all gonna be okay. I gave both of these books 5 stars, and for a good reason. These books have done something to me that no other book has. When I was reading them, I feel like I'm in that world. Like I'm in a completely different world. It completely dragged me out of like real life and into something else. And I think that's why I'm just so attached to these books and feel so emotional about them after reading them. And so that is why I've given both of these books 5 stars. That is why I am so emotionally attached to these books that I was just devastated the entire days after reading both of them. I don't think I'm fully recovered, and I don't think I will ever be fully recovered. I'm excited to read both of these for a second time. I probably will do that once the third book is closer to coming out, which there's suspicion, because on Goodreads there's a listing for the third book and it says it's published December 2024. She did say it was going to take longer for the third book to come out, but my fingers are crossed that she does not make us wait that long. But again, I'll probably be reading these for a second time once the third book comes out, and I can't wait. I hope you guys enjoyed my book review slash rant. I know it was a long one. I just needed to get it all off my chest. And if you listen this far, thank you. I hope you guys have the same opinions and feelings about this book as I do. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.